There's 2 deer there. 3 deer. And right there is cat. There's cat and 3 deer. Helios.
This is a short addendum to no news is good news. And it just happened a couple of weeks ago. This is a big, big story that was in the news in the morning, and by that evening there was nothing on the internet, nowhere, anywhere. It didn't even make it. It didn't even make it one day. It was yanked right out of the news. Let's have a look at this funny story. Okay, now I want to touch on going back to no news is good news. No news is good news of something that happened just yesterday. Now, yesterday morning, you and I were getting going and doing our thing and whatever, right. And it came up on the on my websites that I checked for news that there was a new allegation of President Trump. It was a new allegation of sexual assault by this lady named, this woman, former model.
Amy Doris.
Amy Doris. Okay? And we're looking at it, and it was on CNN, it was on MSNBC, it was on Gateway Pundit, it was on RedState.com, it was on Red State Watcher, it was on all of the conservative and liberal news sites. Okay. All right, and then when you click on the images, and once you type in Amy Doris, you click on the images, and what did we see, Paul?
Oh, we saw young Amy Doris, you know, with Trump and just smiling and just enjoying herself.
How many, though? How many pictures did we see?
There were probably about 12 different ones.
Dozens. At least a couple of dozen of pictures of her and Trump smiling, and it was the same picture.
Yeah.
It was both of them inside the same snap.
Yeah, Trump, her mother, and her, and they were all, I mean, just all together, like she was excited to be in a picture.
Smiling, happy, and there was one that had her and her. She was on one side of Trump, and her mother was on the other side of Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so last night, Paul and I were just feeling froggy, and we started calling up people that we wanted to talk to, just to shoot the breeze with, and we got to one of our young friends, Georgie too, and I was telling, hey, did you hear about the new sexual assault on Trump? He goes, no, I hadn't. I said, well, there it is out here. You know, let's look at it. We went to Gateway Pundit, nothing. CNN, nothing. Red State,
nothing at all.
Red State Watcher, nothing. There was nothing. So I said, well, hey, look, I know we saw it. I mean, you and I, we both saw those pictures. And so I had to enter in all kinds of stuff on DuckDuck and Google to try to find where the images were of this girl and Trump. And I ended up I ended up finding it on typing in former model sexual assault Trump, I think is what I ducked. And then it came up, and then so we click on the images, and what was there?
Oh, just only two pictures. One or two pictures, and all the rest of them were photoshopped. It was her when she was 24, and Trump today. Yeah.
And the picture of her and her mother was gone. Several pictures of her with Trump around with his arm around her were gone, and she was smiling. And the allegation was what? He forced his tongue down my throat.
Yeah.
He forced his tongue down my throat. Well, a girl 24 getting kissed by one of the richest men in the country 25 years ago or whatever. Well, she would be sad about that. She'd be writing home, "Hey Mom, I just got some tongue from Donald Trump."
Yeah.
But all of those pictures were gone. And all it was a bunch of Photoshop stuff of her then with a line down and Trump on the other side. The ones of her and her mother, then there was like 3 or 4 of her and her mother with Trump. They were all gone. In the news, out of the news, no news is good news.
Yes, it is.
This is another dandy here to go into the file of No News is Good News. Shortly after the November 16 election, it's November the 16th. The CIA, early one morning, the CIA rushed to the NSA building in downtown Manhattan. They had a gun battle, I guess an old style Western gun battle right there on the streets. The CIA was trying to rush the National Security Agency building, the big Titan Point, the big dark spy tower there. And I think it was 2 NSA officers were shot dead, but we won't know for sure. And they had 1 CIA officer that lost an arm, or he got shot, or whatever. But it's talking about Trump just being totally ticked off about it. He doesn't look too happy right there. But the whole story, it was just absolutely flabbergasting. And it was yanked out of the news cycle like right before it happened, actually. So this is another one. No news is good news. I'll put the link to where this information, I'll put it down below so that you can click on it if you want to read more about it. It was in the news for just almost a morning, and this is just another one for that file. I believe it was part 2 of my CCP series where I mentioned a wonderful lady named Elizabeth Dilling. And there is no audio of Elizabeth Dilling on YouTube or anywhere else, but there is now. In 1990 or 91, I believe it was, Steve Goodyear, who was living in Cape Canaveral, close to where I was living, presented me with an audio tape, a little reel-to-reel tape, 7.5-inch reel, of Elizabeth Dilling giving a speech. I took that and transferred it to a DAT tape at LNG Studios on Merritt Island when I worked there. And then when I became employed with NRC Studios in Rome, Georgia, I took the DAT tape and transferred that and made 2 CDs out of it, because you couldn't get more than like an hour. You wanted to stay safe. An hour on a CD was fine, is fine. You can go more, but I didn't want to push it, and I had to find a good place to stop. So it's like one's like 56 minutes long, the other one's like 40 minutes long, whatever. It's a long speech, but it's very good. The woman is incredible, and that is the only audio, the only actual audio of Elizabeth Dilling that I know of. I can't find anything more. If anybody else has any lectures of Elizabeth Dilling, put them online. Put them online. She's funny. She's brilliant. She's worked at the embassy in Moscow. She was a cello player, concert cellist. She's just amazing, amazing. And I encourage anyone to read her books. She's fantastic. And check out the audio. The audio was transferred from CDs. So I will give the web addresses down below in the description here. Check them out. I think you'll like them. Helios just caught this little chipmunk here. Moots tyranny. Moots tyranny crosses species, lines of species. Helios. Hey boy. The perfect predator. Helios is such a ham.
A monster's nothing more than bait to lure gullible tourists. Do things like Yeti, Bigfoot, Chupacabra exist? I got news for you. They just might.
This short little section that I'm doing here is just a fun thing in the Addendum series. It doesn't belong anywhere, to be honest with you. And I find this peculiar. This is from 1959, and it mentions the El Chupacabra. And I want to know if there's anyone who can show anything that's actually time-stamped or dated, published in a book, or something that is for real, not online. There was somebody found something online, but we know that PDFs and all kinds of things can be altered online. This is the show. It's an old Western show. It's very popular. The show was called Bonanza. And this episode is El Toro Grande, the Big Bull or the Great Bull. Season 1, Episode 16. This is from 1959. I'm just going to run a little bit of it here.
700, 800, 900, 15,000. It's a lot of money for one animal, Ben.
Yes, it is. Wait till you see this animal.
Now, $15,000 back in this show actually in timestamp takes place in like the late 1850s. So $15,000 for a bull back then would have been an enormous amount of money. Now I've jumped it up to the 41-minute mark, and here you see the little Mexican boy. Here's the big bull here, El Toro Grande, and the little boy and the bull, they become real good friends. And what happens next is that the Indians come up. The Indians in most of these Bonanza movies were the Paiutes. Now the Indians come and they steal the bull. Now here we go.
Valiente, óyese, Chupacabra. ¿Dónde está nuestro hijo? Ay, San José, protégelo.
It says that the sound of the whippoorwill means that Chupacabra.
It's heard the Chupacabra. You know, Chupacabra is those birds, how you call them? Whippoorwill? Whippoorwill, that's right. And you know those birds, they are very mala suerte. That means bad luck. That's why she is worried that Epifanio didn't return back from Creek.
Don't you worry none about Epifanio. That bull ain't gonna let nothing happen to that boy.
Hey, you know, he has been gone a long time, Boss. Maybe I better have a look.
What was that? That's where you call that whippoorwill?
Chupacabra, senor. That means in Spanish, goat sucker. Because those bad birds, they steal all the meat from the goats.
Oh, I don't believe a goat would stand still for it.
It is true, senor. I have seen with my own eye. The lot of goats come back from pasture, no milk.
Well, I don't prove nothing.
Sure it proves. Why not?
Well, have you ever actually seen one of them birds milking a goat?
Let me remember. Well, no, I cannot truly say that I have seen. But I have not seen many things in life, and it's so short.
So there's a reference to Chupacabra that I found watching old Bonanza reruns or on YouTube. So I just thought you would think that was cute. And like I say, if anybody's got an actual reference to Chupacabra in here, it's tied in with the whippoorwill, and it's a bird that sucks the milk. And the modern day Chupacabra, the goat sucker, sucks the blood. And Paul and I have had our own run-in with what we thought was a Chupacabra incident. I'm not going to get into that yet. But anyway, if somebody's got an older reference to the Chupacabra, I would like to know where it was or how you found it.
These are my animals. April of 2019. There's Allahu Akbar right there. He just came in. There's Helios and Lady Girl Squirrel and her new coat. She has been cut tonight. Okay. If you move, this cat here will take your seat. Allahu will take your seat. Good kitties. Great doggy. Alright, this is how I filmed all this. This little presentation here that I did. It was a good day for it. Of course, I had to have my helpers, cat and dog, and Shalahu tried his best to get into some of my shots. All right, but this is how I set everything up. Just want to kind of get a shot of this, and then I'm going to, as I was transporting books back and forth here in the shop, this is what it looked like in here. Just books stacked everywhere. Everywhere. Stuff just strewn about. Now I've got to put all this back, wrap it all up, put it back in the totes, but that's not all there. I had a lot of stuff stored in here. You can see there's a couple of stacks there. This was a pretty big undertaking to do this video. It's my favorite bug here. Hey, come on. Come on. Come up here. Let me see if I can get her to dance. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. It's Uncle Harry. Come on up, girl. Come on. Come on. Good girl. My favorite bug. Let's go put her out here. This girl here is healthy. Look at her. Beautiful creature. My favorite bug. She's dancing a little bit. Let me go turn her loose out here. There you go. This kitty here is Helios. He's just so nervous. He's so worried. He's so worried about predators coming after him. He's worried about his next meal. This is one of his spots. He likes to lay on that cool tin there next to the garbage cans. It sure beats hunting for varmints, doesn't it, Helios? Huh? This is cruelty to animals. Cruelty. Isn't that right, Helios?
Okay, here I'm showing a photograph I got from my friend Mark at Higher Grade Knowledge. And this is taken from the beginning pages of Volume 4 of Encyclopedia Judaica, which is mainly the B volume. And this is an original 1971. You see it right here by Keter Publishing House Limited, Jerusalem, Israel. All rights reserved, no parts of this book are reproduced, transmitted, and formed in blah, 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 woof, woof. And this is why a lot of people have problems with the way that I do my my videos, but see, since this is like 4th generation, it's a page, then a picture, then an email, then a picture, then a page, and then it's shot on video. So right here you see first printing, 1971, and right here is very interesting. It says, not for sale in the U.S., Canada, and Latin America. Produced and printed in Jerusalem, Israel. Now the first thing that comes to mind here is the fact that the background is blue. And why that is, we don't know. So now this is an addendum to my Flying Books video. Because if my Flying Books video had not been produced and shown and received some success, then Mark, my friend, would have not noticed this. So this is an addendum to Flying Books. Right here. Not for sale in the U.S., Canada, and Latin America. Okay, now, I've got Mark on the line right now. Hello, Mark. How are you doing?
Great, Harry. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Now, I would like for you to, first of all, explain what we were looking at with this blue background. Where does the blue background come from?
Okay, well, I'm working on that. I may have tagged something on the phone, you know, on a phone guru, so maybe something but I just do a picture normally, how I take a picture and send it to you in email, how I sent it many times in the past.
Why did this one end up blue and none of the rest of them did?
I don't know, but I think it's more interesting what they're about to talk about.
Okay, so that's the first problem I have, is why this particular photograph turned blue as you sent it to me. But now I'm going to look at the next photograph that we have of the same book, of this same text, of the same picture that you took, what, the next day? It was the next day, right?
That may be a couple days later.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the next day, or the next 2 days later. Let's call it 2 days later. And here it is. Now this one turned out white with the background. And here we see it, 1971 by Keeter Publishing. You can see this right here, this paragraph here is exactly the same. Library of Congress, first printing, The Macmillan Company, New York, produced and printed in Jerusalem, Israel. Guess what is missing? Not for sale in the United States, Canada, and Latin America. Right here. Not for sale in the U.S., Canada, and Latin America. Now, let's go back to the more modern one. And now, you swear this is the exact same book.
Same book, and you can even see by the number on that. That's only given, each book has their own number. There, so it's absolutely the same.
And each edited series has a copyright date in them, a publishing date.
Right.
Okay, so what we're seeing is that the print in this book changed within 2 days of you sending me the email. The email that you sent me first is the only record that we have that not for sale in the U.S.
Only record, but I've been aware of that for since the beginning of my first purchase. We're talking back in 2011.
I don't know, but what we're looking at is that the print has changed in the book. And now, this isn't something that me and you were making up, because you sent me the email, and when you noticed that the print had changed, you had a witness right there with you.
I did.
And when you called me to express how the print had changed, your witness was there, and he was backing you up every step of the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have any idea of how this print changed in this book?
No, nothing I would even care to speculate on. No, I was going to ask you if you knew of any good crazy houses I could check myself into, actually.
No, but you being familiar with my videos, especially Flying Books, you have seen the print change in books, and you experienced it firsthand first person present tense. I mean, this is, okay, this is now January, late January of 2021, and this whole event happened like what, last week?
Yes.
Well, listen, brother, I sure do appreciate you noticing this. I sure do appreciate your help on all the videos that you've assisted with me. And I think this is a very significant part of the story, flying books, and how print seems to, what they call Mandela effect or whatever. Because I don't think I had ever even heard of Mandela effect till you told me about it.
Yeah, I remember. Thought I was crazy telling you about that, too.
Yeah, I did. I'd never heard of Mandela effect until you told me about it. Because I was telling you what I had seen with my own eyes, and you said, hey, that's called Mandela effect. I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah, disturbing, right?
Yeah, quite disturbing. Okay, well, listen, brother, peace out, and I'm going to be using this in my next video, Addendum 4, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Thank you, brother. This is in the backyard. See all this? This right here is already turning here. All this is white snakeroot. Just tons and tons and tons of it. You eat this stuff here, it puts you in a coma. There's another poisonous plant there. Those guys will eat you up. You eat this, it puts you in a coma, then it kills you. Look along this little bank here. And my driveway, all the way, is just, this stuff is just on both sides. Get that bunch up in there. Get all that. I'm sure some big medicine company would love to have access to this. They make some kind of heart medicine, I think, with it.
Yep. It's a weird world. And I love it.
Everybody's just so stressed out. Everybody's just stressed out. That cat's just under so much stress and strain and pain of life, isn't he? Allahu Akbar. Now I'm going to jump back to the 1960s and late 50s or so. And this bit of nostalgia here coincides with Addendum to breaking the currency code. I was always interested in different forms of currencies. And this is one of them here. This was very popular in the 60s. This is called the American Express Traveler's Checks. And this is what my father always used when we traveled out west or up north. If they were lost or stolen, you could get them replaced. So by the early 70s, what I find interesting is the iron crosses up here. Now, this is just an advertisement. This isn't actually a check here, and I got a couple more of them here to show you. I'm just going to scroll up here. Here's another one, pretty close to the very same thing. Goodyear State Bank of Akron, Ohio. And here was another ad. Your travel cash is 100% safe when you carry American Express Traveler's Checks. The most widely accepted checks in the world, and they were at that time. Very popular. And this is what they actually looked like. And by the early 70s, there was a famous television detective, Carl Malden. It was, what was the name of his show? The Streets of San Francisco. And he was advertising them. Don't leave home without it. If you're lost or stolen, you can always get them redeemed. So what you did was, is when you purchased them, I think they were in lots of 5. So you paid $100, you got 5 of these, and you signed them right off the bat. Here. And then you signed them in the presence of wherever you were spending it, plus you had to have an ID. And that's how they kept the fraud down. So here's your American Express Spartan or Trojan, whatever he is there. You see the iron crosses here and here. And here's where you wrote it out to whoever you're spending it to. Here's your 20. Very pretty. They were purple and blue, and that's why I kind of wanted to have some in my collection. But I don't know if anybody's got any of these. It would be nice to see if anybody kept one of these or a packet of these just to have around for the future of paper currencies. Redeemable only at the company's offices and the banks in the United States. And right here it says it was good in all other countries at current buying rate for bankers, checks on New York. And thing is what I find very interesting here is right down here at the bottom, American Bank Note Company. So that's a step back into Addendum to Breaking the Currency Code, which I think is a great series. A little bit more nostalgia from decades ago that nobody's going to touch this. Nobody's going to show you this. Hey, no, it ain't going to happen. We can see here now it's a very comfortable 87 inside, and outside it is 0. And God bless all those people across the country that have no power, no heat in this frigid environment. I'm just throwing this segment in for fun because everybody knows how I love the beards. The beards. And what I've done is here I Googled Neanderthal man. And what we're going to do is we're just going to scroll down here and we're going to look to see how many of these Neanderthal men are clean shaven or well groomed, well styled. Well styled. We got some here that are a little scraggly, but it's not but, you know, a couple inches long. I know Amish that's got them down to their navel. So let's go scroll down here a little bit. Let you see, here's one that's clean shaven. Here's some groomed. I just really like seeing all these Neanderthals here clean shaven. They must have had electric razors. Look at this guy here. Or Gillette shavers back then. Razors. Did they use straight razors? You can hear him. Look at that smile there. Look at that big smile. Look at how groomed up he is. Check him out. Check out that smile. Clean shaven. Look at that happy smile there. And if you scroll down here good enough, you'll see him with perfect teeth too. That clean shaven. Just hundreds and hundreds of Neanderthals with clean faces. Here's one with perfect teeth. Perfect teeth. That was put online 2 days ago. That whole skull is just perfect. Perfect. Yes, sir. Boy, if you don't believe that right there's a whopper, you just ain't worth your mustard. Yeah, here's the guy that found a skull. Neanderthal found a Neanderthal skull with perfect teeth. Just thought you'd like to see that. My friend and colleague, Paul Schaffranke, is back with us again on this segment here. And we're going to revisit Addendum to the ancient coins of Pertinax. Because Paul has made a couple of his own discoveries concerning this issue. And as you're going to see here, and what I've got called up, Paul, is a bunch of gold Pertinax coins. And I'm going to scroll through them. Now, explain what Commodus did, who was Pertinax's predecessor, what he did to the treasury, and why do we get all these gold coins?
Well, when you read the ancient history that has been brought to us, it makes Commodus look really bad, like nothing he ever did was right. He was horrible, he was bad. And the biggest crime he committed is that he completely depleted the Roman treasury with all the gladiatorial games and everything else, that by the time he was assassinated, there was absolutely no gold and silver in the Roman treasury. But yet his successor, Pertinax, who reigned for 86 days, apparently has a slew of gold coins here as far as what I can see.
Yes. Yes. So where did he get the gold?
And in mint condition. Mint condition.
There's only one or two that look to be worn.
Yeah, slightly worn, but I've never seen that many. I don't even think I've seen one in the previous catalogs from 20 years ago. They were like bronze pieces, but all these different gold, mint condition Pertinax, and of course he looks different. He has a longer beard than one, a shorter beard than the other, and he's almost clean shaven in another one here. I mean, that all happened in 86 days. I don't know, but this is
now
in mint condition.
Now, none of my catalogs from the 90s, 1980s, or even the early 2000s, none of my catalogs show any of these gold coins. None of them.
Well, it's amazing.
And it's just dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Not all of these are Pertinax, but most of them are.
Him, the only reason he's interesting is because they say that Commodus depleted the treasury. There was no gold and silver. The empire was bankrupt. So you would think it would take a long time to get the treasury, through taxation and all that. And that would have taken a year or a little more to do that. But yet within the 86 days of his reign, you see these mint condition gold coins. Well, where the hell did the gold come from so suddenly for such a short period of time? It doesn't make sense.
All these gold, beautiful, mint condition FDC Fleur de Coin.
If the treasury was really bankrupt, it would take a year to 2 years in trade with India and all these trade routes for them to generate the gold and silver revenue necessary to mint the coins. But yet this was supposedly done within the 86 days during the reign of Pertinax, not even 3 months. So where did all this gold suddenly come from? It just does not make sense.
And there are just a slew of more these fake coins that are popping up on the scene. And I'm going to say it again. If you purchase any kind of coins online, you are crazy nuts. Look at all these fakes. Just tons and tons of fakes. And I love even the Greek Athena coins. The ones that you saw like 25 years ago that were bad, that cooled too quick or whatever. The owl, the Athenian owl, the Greek owl. That we saw just a pile of them. And I said that they're all fakes. And here we see fakes right here. And they're fake coins, counterfeiters and their fake coins. But now, going back to Pertinax and these gold coins, and when we look at the abbreviations and the initials and how that they have like AES, AE, AV, AR, AG, they got all these articulate identifiers of various things, and it doesn't matter if the coin's gold, silver, how much it weighs. They're all over the place, and they vary between the catalogs.
Right.
And so it is confusing. And so when I'm saying AE, we've known for decades that AES is bronze, but now the AE appears to be like a mixture of bronze and something else. What is your take on the letters?
Well, that supposedly, it's the different denominations of a sestertius, denarius, a quarter denarius, a quarter. AS is bronze. That's initially bronze. Aureus is gold, and they have the solidus. But it just depends.
So it's really all over the place.
It's just, we really don't know because some of the history that comes to us is very questionable. And of course, all these fake coins are backed up by this questionable history, so we really don't know what's going on.
Other than the fact that there's just a ton of fake coins out there. Every Roman emperor. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
There's just more now than ever before the catalog.
Yeah, we were on to it 30 years ago, but now it's like way out of control. And
Yeah.
I guess these guys, I guess these guys don't get it. And now let's say another one that you found in a Gothicles mint condition gold coin.
Oh, well, like when I pulled up your page, you know, on top, yes, there's a gold coin with a picture of Apollo on it, and it's supposed to have been done by a Gothicles, and it's, of course, it's a mint condition, $880,000.
Oh!
But you have to pay $18 shipping.
That's
Yeah, gold
fantastic.
tough.
That's
But
fantastic.
there's even a better one out there that's even funnier. In addition to this Agathocles coin, there is a $40,000 silver coin of the Golden Fleet ship. You know, Jason and the Golden Fleet?
Oh my
They got
gosh.
the Golden. There's a Golden Fleet shipwreck silver coin in horrible condition for only $40,000. And what cracks me up is on eBay, they show these coins here, like this Agathocles coin and a Golden Fleet coin. It says used. Okay, does that mean it was used in ancient times? Well, I certainly doubt you can do much commerce with one today, so I guess it's not mint condition, so it was used. But
Slightly used.
a $40,000 silver coin ingot. Golden Fleet. Jason and the Golden Fleet. I mean, it just never ends.
That is correct. It never ends. And here, look at all of these right here are fake. This whole page that I'm showing now is fake coins. And look how well they're laid out. Here's a whole slew of modern coins, ancient coins, all kinds of coins from everywhere. Here, that fake coin Bible. Look at that. Maybe I ought to order that.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, if you wanted to order a certain Pertinax coin, gold coin here, mint condition, they'll ask you how many would you like.
Well, yeah, on the one it said like temporarily out of stock.
Temporarily out of stock. We know the mountain to find them, and we'll dig them up for you.
We know the hill. I know the hill.
Like in Syria, man. They know exactly where to go in Syria to dig up that gold coin. Or Julius Caesar or whatever. We heard that before, didn't we?
Yep. Well, okay, brother. I sure do appreciate your help and participation on this.
Okay.
Now, this would be an addendum to my video that I cut several years ago called Stop the Train, Stop the Train, where I do an analytical, detailed review of the diary of this young lady here. Here you see her life and her legacy. Life magazine put this out. And I saw this at one of the local Dollar Generals. I looked at it and I kind of laughed to myself. And I went to my truck. I got in and I said, man, if I don't go in and purchase that, I'm going to be mad about it. Because there was only one left. It cost me $15 plus tax. We're just going to scroll down here a little bit. Look at her happy face. And we're going to notice a couple of things here. We're going to notice how you got three distinct curls of the hair here. There's another one that's four. Here you got this little thing coming up here and this right here. There's a wave coming here. There's some light coming through here, and over here. Yes. And we're going to scroll down here a little bit, and we're going to see that the lower jaw, it seems a little bit too large for the neck. So it's a good, I would say a very good Photoshop, but I'm just saying that neck looks a little bit too small for the head. You can say what you want. And I guess it was pretty recent because it says display until May 21st, 21. There it was, $14.99 US, an updated reissue. And I'm just going to let you look at it here. Now I'm going to show you the next picture that is very similar. This picture is very similar, but you'll notice the curls here are different. This is all different here. That is different. This is all different over here. But the smile is the same, and the neck appears to be a little small for the head. I'm just saying. Let's go back. Here's this one again. A lot more detail in the hair. And now this one. Similar, but certainly not the same. Now we're going to look at page 6, where we're starting to look at all of these passport photographs. It says that Anne was giving up her mug for passport pictures. And we're going to scroll down here. You're going to see just all, this is just the start of it. There's total 36 of them. How many times, if you have ever went to passport to get a passport picture, how many people take 36 pictures? Now, see, she's all in the same dress here. There's somewhere she's smug, somewhere she's got her eyes shut. But look at here. In these, she has a different dress on. So she must have changed dresses right there in the photographer's studio. How else? Now, the pictures that I just showed you, and these right here, I have never seen before. Several years ago, they were not online. I'd never seen them online. But now, we see them. And I looked at hundreds and hundreds. Like I say, this girl, this little girl, has had probably more pictures taken of her than Marilyn Monroe, Jane Russell, on and on and on. Just hundreds more. Hundreds and hundreds more. And she only lived to be 15. Now let's look at page 7. And here we see the remaining passport pictures. Why didn't they just tell her, hey, look at the camera and get one good shot? Where, I mean, that would have worked. Several of these would have worked. Why did they continue? That one wouldn't have. It may have back then. I'm just saying. Here she's all in the same dress, the same skirt, but not in these. Got that high collar, the high collar lift. Just showing some diversity here in the clothing wear that is kind of suspicious. And now we're going to go back to page 6. And I'm doing this to show you how this works, so that you understand what it is you're looking at. This is a quote from June the 20th, 1942. Right there you see it. June 20th, 1942. Later on, neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I feel like writing. June 20th, 1942. Now, none of the quotes from this Life magazine matched the book. None of them. Not a single one of the quotes matched the book. But I'm going to show you this one here. It's absolutely outrageous. This comes from page 15 of my diary, which I believe was printed in either the late 50s or early 60s. And here you see the date. Saturday, June 20th, 1942. And here she's talking about playing ping pong with some friends, and then they're talking about going and eating ice cream, and you know, the surprise about that boy friends at my age. Okay, she's only 13. She's only 13, and she's talking about the boys, and all these boys are just falling in love with her and want to ride their bicycles with her. As I take little notice of ardent looks and pedal blithely on. Page 15. Now let's look at page 16, which continues the entry. If it gets so far that they begin to about asking father what, for her hand in marriage at 13, or to date her or whatever, she swerves slightly on my bicycle. My satchel falls. The young man is bound to get off and hand it to me. These are the most innocent types. You get some who blow kisses or try to get hold of your arm. Further in their company, or I pretend to be insulted. There, the foundation of our friendship is laid. Till tomorrow. And here we see yours and the entry for the next day, Sunday, June the 21st, 1942. Now my question is this. Did you see this quote anywhere in that? June 20th, 1942. Did you see this quote anywhere there? No, I don't think you did, because it does not exist. And that's how this Life magazine is throughout all of the quotes. Now this comes from page 37. And the caption says that it was taken in 1941. At that time, she was 13 years old. 13. But it appears to me that she got some baggage under the eyes here. Baggage under the eyes. But that's not why I'm showing you this picture. I'm showing you this picture because I wonder if anybody could track down when that watch or what kind of watch that was. But right here, we have what appears to be an engagement ring. Now, if it's not an engagement ring, please let me know what kind of ring that is. She's 13. She's got a ring on, or supposedly this girl is 13. Why is she wearing a ring right here? Oh, it was culture, it was conditioning, it was custom for young girls to wear engagement rings? What? And she's just talking about all the boys just dropping head over heels in love with her. How do you explain that? This is my last entry. It comes from page 59 of the Life magazine. And it's beautifully written. For a 15-year-old girl, she's 15 in 1944. It's beautifully, there are no blotches, there are no mistakes, all of the words are even. Look at that, it is so cool. And supposedly she was writing with a fountain pen. If she was writing with a fountain pen or any kind of pen, how'd she get ink? If this is a ballpoint pen, that was what a lot of the controversy was. I had never seen anything like this, but this does appear to be written with a blue ballpoint pen. And for some reason, all of the dots are black. But the script has held its color for what, 60 years? Has held its color blue. You can clearly see it is blue. Why? In the 60s and 70s, the stuff that's written in red and green and black and blue ink, they all kind of fade away. But not this pen here. This pen here held its color. For what, 80 years now? Mm-hmm. No blotches, no lifting up, no putting down. For a 14-year-old girl, it's pretty spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, I would. So there is an addendum to Stop the Train, Stop the Train. When arriving home after a long four-wheeler ride in August of 2013, I heard a faint meow coming from the backyard. I supposed at the time that a shady neighbor who bred feral cats and watched us leave earlier had placed the kitten at our cabin because it was just too tiny to have made it down our half-mile driveway or even more distance through the forest to get to our cabin. We decided to keep the runt kitten, and he was named Helios by my wife at the time, Jen. I'm sure Helios was the only cat in the world who had his own ancient Egyptian cartouche with Greek characters. I relate this because Helios has made cameo appearances in several of my videos over the past few years, and he actually has his own fans. What happened just after dark on January the 2nd of 2021 is a strange mystery to say the least. Right before 6 p.m., just after the sun had gone down, my friend Moose had left on his side-by, and I noticed Helios sitting on my deck just gazing over the ravine north of the cabin. He was there for about 15 minutes or so, I figure. And about 20 after 6, I called him in for supper time, and he didn't respond. I didn't see him in the yard anywhere either. So at 9 p.m., I called out again for him to come in for chicken, and he still made no appearance. And this is when I began to be concerned. When he didn't show up for 11 o'clock chicken, I knew he might be gone for good. He never missed 11 p.m. chicken. I'd say Helios vanished shortly after I saw him for the last time just after 6:15. I have heard cat fights at night plain and loud, but that evening I didn't hear anything unusual. All was quiet.
I have weasels, foxes, coyotes, and other animals that can eat cats, but any of those attacking Helios, I would have heard something. He would have made a noise. The only scenario I could figure was that a great horned owl must have swooped down, grabbed him by the neck, and taken off with him, because Helios was quite small, about 8 pounds, and we do have great horned owls. Or he just vanished into thin air like so many cats on YouTube are shown to do. The next day when I got home from work, I took my dog on a search, and my other cat, Lahu, came along with us. We hiked over a half-mile range south, east, and west for over 2 hours and found no sign of Helios or a struggle. I supposed then that he was gone forever. I would like to have known what happened either way, and I wondered if when I saw him sitting on the deck, if I had called out to him to come in, or even if I got out to pet him, could I have somehow changed his timeline of fate? We'll never know. So it's goodbye to my furry friend Helios, and he won't be appearing in any more of my videos. However, Helios is not the only cat to vanish from here at this cabin. In May of 2013, a beautiful stray and tame male Manx kitty wandered up from nowhere one day and made his presence known. Lahu and our doggy quickly accepted our new visitor, and everyone was getting along fine. After he had been here for about 4 days, I noticed him sleeping under a shelf in the hallway, and 15 minutes later, poof, he was gone, never to be seen again. If he had gone outside, he would have had to pass right beside me because I was working next to the kitty door. In that amount of time, he surely would have been noticed outside or somewhere nearby, but no, he had also vanished. This is somewhat a sad ending to the Addendum series, but life and death goes on. Here I'm showing an actual trail cam photo of an owl swooping down and grabbing a cat. And this is a tiger tabby, just like Helios was. So it does happen. And I just wonder if this could have happened to Helios. I'll never know for sure. So peace out, my dear brothers and sisters. Until next time, stay safe. May God bless you. Thank you.